Gotta finish this up so I can get back to Borderlands so Randy Pitchford doesn't yell at me. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, September 19th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Big thing happening this week is we got video game launches, the first of which is the third installment in the Dying Light franchise. For those of you who don't know, this is a zombie survival parkour game, and I've, for the most part, been really liking those. It's actually one of the first games I worked on when I started at WB back in 2015. And yeah, based on some of the reviews I've read, it seems like it's a slight increase over. It's got a lot of quality of life increases from the previous games. This one's a little bit denser and a little bit smaller, so they're not leaning into that open world, flat with not a lot in it kind of things that I guess was holding back the previous one, Dying Light 2. So overall, yeah, I'm excited to see that video games are launching. I do like the Dying Light franchise. I'm like I said, I'm probably gonna be playing Borderlands for a little bit, but this one might be a good one for me to look back on and potentially pick up once I'm done with Borderlands. But let me know what you think of the new Dying Light if you're picking that up. Let me know what you think of it down below. Another video game that caught my eye coming out of Gamescom, I think was the last time was the first and I think only time we saw this. There's a puzzle game, a Lego puzzle game, but instead of playing a minifig or like a character, you have to exclusively play as you exclusively have to play co-op, and each of you is just a one-by-one little Lego brick. Lego Voyagers. I believe it was. I don't remember if it was. I think it was Gamescom was when we kind of first saw this one. But that's actually launched this week. I'm always looking for fun co-op games to play with my wife, and we like Lego games just as much as any other game-playing couple. This one's got a 79 rate Metacritic, so it seems like a lot of people are enjoying it. It looks like a fun, easy puzzle game. And yeah, I like Legos and like playing co-op, so this one has been kind of on my eye for a little bit. We also got a little bit more information about the kind of Telltale-like hero game that was announced at the VGAs in 2024. It's called Dispatch. We can now go a little bit more information, like that it's launching on October 22nd. So we're just a little bit over a month away from playing this kind of Telltale-like game where you play as superheroes, or maybe I think you're just a regular person working in a dispatch for how to dispatch superheroes. But that's always one of the ways that I think is an interesting way to play as heroes, is like really bring in the narrative and like the choices. And so it'll be really interesting to see how kind of your decisions to like send heroes out will affect kind of the world, and what kind of branching storyline you can create out of that. So I'm excited for Dispatch coming in on October 22nd. Rockstar seems to be counting their chickens a little bit before they've hatched. According to a recent job posting, they're looking for someone to help them with the biggest video game launch ever, referring to GTA 6, which is a little bit, again, counting the chickens before they hatch, in that the game hasn't even launched yet, considering it's coming out May 26th of next year. But yeah, and also kind of a lot of pressure to put on like a new hire, is like, hey, can you help us bring, literally the biggest video game ever? I'm not saying that I don't think it will be the biggest video game ever. I actually am looking forward to it potentially being the biggest video game launch ever and seeing what that could look like. But saying it in a job description for someone you need help is, again, a lot of pressure on that person, and also it feels a little, I don't know, feels a little smug to start saying those kind of things before the game's even launched. But hey, it's probably going to be true. So maybe start saying it now. I don't know. Feels a little smug. Speaking of smug, you couldn't go on Twitter this week, or X, without running into a Randy Pitchford rant. He was pushing back on all of the PC performance issues that people were complaining about last week. He's continuing to try and be the face of the situation, the face of Gearbox. and just going about it the wrong way and always putting his foot in his mouth and always just comes off condescending. Um, yeah, he like there was like one back and forth with a user where like they posted their specs for their PC and how it's like top of the line. And Pitcher was like going in and making suggestions based on their bill, and it's just like maybe this isn't the thing that like the head slash face of the company should be going into individual players like specs and giving them individualized tailored responses. Like this is way below your pay grade, man. Like you're the face. Like just say, hey, we're gonna work on fixing it, and move on. Like keep the where are the PR team that have to like put a stopper to this nightmare? Yeah, he talked about again with all the condescending. He said things like this is a premium game for premium gamers, and like you're like flat out just saying like, hey, your rig sucks. Like it's not gonna be able to run the game. You should return it, which is just a bad vibe in general. And considering not all of this is just for PC players, I've experienced a pretty, like dropping of frames and slow performance after playing for several hours on console. So like, this PC does get a lot of attention, and it looks like there's a lot more performance issues on PC. But it also is not optimized for console, and we console players also want the game to be fixed. So and overall, like the game is fun. It's got like the best movement the series has ever had. It's taking itself a little bit more seriously. I'm only like 10 hours in, so I'm not even like that deep into it, like what the story is. But like running around and shooting stuff, it feels good. It probably feels the best that Borderlands has ever been. But I want to be able to play it for more than 2 hours at a time without having to shut down the app. So uh, all that to say, someone get Randy Pitchford off Twitter. Someone in PR put a cork in that man and just let him and teach him to just say your feedback is valuable to us. We will take it under consideration and move on, man. Like you're the face. You don't need to be doing individual tailored feedback on people's PC builds. But I digress. Interesting study this week found that 90% of gamers who play what was that? What's the survey term? Like frequently play games, which as someone who's designed a video game survey or two in my time means like they play once or twice a week, maybe 8 to 10 hours. That's kind of what kind of bar we're setting on what kind of like gamers these people are. This survey is looking for or got feedback from. And 90% of them have played a remaster in the last 12 months. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Like, if the hypothesis was like remasters or remakes aren't good, then I would think that like most people, like most gamers, as we can see, 90% of gamers think that remasters or remakes are good. Like I know that there's a small contingent of people who want like exclusively original games and no remasters, which I think is pretty dumb. Like cashing in on nostalgia is definitely a worthwhile business endeavor. But like, yeah, of course they've played like a remake. There've been a bunch of great remasters and remakes in the last dozen years. Like all the Resident Evil games are like redefining what it means to play Resident Evil games because they're going back and changing all the janky, all the jankiness that was ascribed to the previous titles. Like there have been plenty of great remasters and remakes. So yeah, I don't know what conclusion you're trying to draw from this other than people play them, and that that's agreed. Like the Game Awards last year got a whole bunch of crap because they like put I think Resident Evil on the Game of the Year list, and it's like this is a remaster, not necessarily on par with like an originally developed game, but sometimes remasters are really good, and including like I said, the Resident Evil ones are really good, and so I don't know that like I've only ever heard like small poo-poos on like remastering or remaking a game, and I think there is plenty of games that I bet if you walked up to any gamer and you asked them what's a remake that you would buy today, they would have an answer because there's a game from their childhood that they would love to be remade. I would love to be able to play original Doom on a modern console. I would love to be able to play like all the BioShock games on current gen consoles. Like, and those have already been remastered several times, but I still want to be able to play them on on current gen or on a platform where it'll stay up forever. So all that to say, random study, I don't know what the conclusion you draw from it other than, hey, it's a viable business model, which anybody who's looked at any of the remakes in the past half dozen years could probably tell you, yes, it's a viable business strategy and a lot of people play them. So, interesting thing there. For those of you who are still on the hunt for a Switch 2, they are now available on Amazon. As of me checking a couple hours ago, they are still available on Amazon to be purchased. You can purchase them straight from Amazon, including the Mario Kart bundle and the Pokemon ZA bundle for $500 for those, or you can buy the base model for $450. So if you're looking for one, I'll have a link down below. You can check that out. New game coming from some ex-Blizzard devs who developed a new studio called Bonfire Studios, and their new game is a Diablo-like, which is interesting from some ex-Blizzard fans or ex-Blizzard developers. The game is called Arc Heron, and it is both a Diablo-like, action RPG isometric perspective, but it's also somewhat, I wouldn't say battle royale, like a little bit of there's a PvP element where like your team versus another person's 3-person team, it seems like, fight in an arena, and then whoever wins that gets new loot and gear, and then they go on to the next fight, and you kind of pyramid your way until you can finally be the last team standing. Interesting combination of ideas. Like the Diablo-like gameplay feels very kind of MOBA-esque. Like I would call this more like a MOBA-like game. I'm curious what like weapon progression and all that kind of stuff looks like. And as someone who doesn't particularly like PvP games, this one was somewhat interesting to me, but I'm probably going to get dumped on by some sweaty tryhards, and then probably not the game for me. But if you do like challenging your metal against the internet, you make sure to look out for Arc Heron by Bonfire Studios. A couple weeks ago, I talked about how Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 was going to lock 2 of the infamously 7 Masquerade clans behind a paywall. So the $30 DLC on top of the $60 base game was going to go to unlocking the other 2 clans. They walked that back almost immediately, and now we got official response on what their DLC plan is, and the 2 clans will be playable at launch. So all 6 of the 7 clans will be playable, and there's like the 7th clan is like a character in your head, it sounds like. Slight spoilers for, I don't know, hopefully the beginning of the game or the basic synopsis of the game. They still talked about how there will be a story DLC that's going to be part of that $30, as well as like the pre-order bonus and some cosmetic stuff. But yes, you can play 6 of the 7 Vampire the Masquerade clans at launch. So excited for that as someone who I think is a Toreador main. I haven't played a Vampire the Masquerade game in quite some time, but I think I always identified as like the sexy, sparkly Toreador clan. So looking forward to potentially playing as them. Last but not least, a new space colony sim game was launched into early access this week. It is a partnership between Kurzgesagt, the science YouTube video where they have like cute animated kind of creatures. They make really cool science videos. So I saw their announcement this week. And they partnered with Tokana Interactive, which is the studio that made Dwarf Romantic, another one of my favorite casual games that came out just a couple years ago. But yeah, it's a kind of zany colony sim as you're trying to like harness resources from a meteor, and then you slowly grow your civilization to be making greater things, and it all fits in with like the Kurzgesagt kind of aesthetic, as well as what they're constantly talking about, because they always have videos about space and what's going on in space and how to do stuff, crazy things in space. So I'm excited to potentially pick this up. It's out on early access. I'll link down below for you to check that out. But that's it for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, please follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!